Hey, what's up, everybody? We are back with the Andre Duke Show with Carter Smith. I got Richie on tonight's version of Late Night with the Andre Duke Show. Little late night action for everybody out there. We got a lot to talk about. I mean, there's a lot going on. A lot of people, hitting portals, maybe leaving. A lot of stuff to talk about in college football. I'm gonna do my best not to move too much. I've been told that's an issue. But Richie, Richie, how's your Friday night going, man?
Hey man, can't complain. It's the weekend. It's been a week. I'll just tell you that. But hey, live
Mhm.
to fight another day, and tomorrow's Saturday, and hit the gym early, bright and early tomorrow. Can't complain, man.
Hey, there you go. There you go. I mean, we got some NFL football tomorrow at least, right? Or no, that's all on
No,
Sunday,
it's
isn't it? Fuck.
championships. It's championship Sunday, Carter B.
So we got nothing. I got Kentucky basketball. That's all I have for my Saturday. This is terrible. This
Kent's
weekend keeps getting worse.
Kent's losing by 2 to OU. Damn it.
I mean, who cares? Does anybody actually care? But
I
yeah,
do. I
I
do.
mean, it's been a week. I agree. I
Yeah.
think everybody like I don't know about listeners out there. You can tell me how's your week been? Because for us on the show, it's been a fucking week. Like I mean, Richie's had a lot going on. He's had to deal with. I've been dealing with my own shit, and it's. I'm happy it's Friday. And I gotta go on a little tangent just to get it off my chest here. And Richie, I told you a little bit before, but I just some people, man, I can't understand it, and it just I'm sorry if I'm in a bad mood on the show. I just got fucking pissed off a little bit, and now I got to do this show, or I don't have to. I could fucking cancel it, I guess. But it's but there's a lot of good to talk about, and so let's talk about it. Jay Grizz, my boys are in here. Sid's in here. Travis, let's have a good night. Let's turn up a little on a Friday night. Travis, he said, "Oh, Richie already hit him with the IO. Hope you boys are having a good night. I'm not overly concerned about this, but can we get some good news? Yeah, right. I just want some good news too. Hey, Jay Grizz, why has your
Jay
week been
Grizz,
great? I love to see it, man. I love to see a great week.
happy
My
Friday.
week's not been that bad. I got to be honest with you. I'm being negative, and I try really hard to. And part of my New Year's, I don't do New Year's resolutions, but part of my goals was I was going to focus on the positives. And really, I'll tell you this because this goes into tonight a little bit, but I made a decision. If you guys like know anything about my background or anything about the past couple years for me, like I've been down some shit. I've been down a road, and really for the past couple years, I haven't lived the way I want to. I haven't done the things I want to. Part of me doing this show is me doing the shit I want to do, right? And that's why I started doing the show with Duke because I was like, fuck that. I'm gonna do what I want to do. I'm sick of people telling me what to do. I'm sick of doing like other stuff, and so that was part of the reason I did this show. And this morning, I woke up and I was like, you know what, like. I'm still letting certain things, like certain people, certain things control aspects of my life, and I'm just done with that. Like I'm gonna be me, and if you don't like it, you can fuck off. And so I went through my day. I did some things that I normally wouldn't do. People were like, "This is weird," whatever. Like, all right, cool. If it's weird, move on. But and so like that's just what I decided, and I don't know why tonight or today was that day, but then tonight's interaction that I had, I was like, yeah, this is why I need to just do the fuck what I want to do. So happy Friday. I hope everybody, if you're out there and you're thinking about like, God damn, my life's not in the place I want to be, or like anything like that, like fucking do you, bro. Like do what you
Yeah.
want to do. Fuck that
Life,
noise. Like
life's too short, man. Life is too
too fucking
short to give a
short, man.
shit
Too
what people
fucking short.
think. I don't care. Like, you know what? I got stuff going. Carter, you know about stuff.
Yeah.
Outside of this.
Yeah.
I got to worry about today.
Mhm.
Can't worry about what people think. What people's opinions of me is. I don't really give a flying fuck.
Exactly, exactly. And Jay Grizz got my back here. That's it, Carter. No F's given. Exactly. Fuck
That's
it.
right.
If you don't want to be part of my like, if you don't fuck with what I'm doing, then move the fuck on. I'm cool with it. I'm sorry. I'm cursing a lot right now.
Hey, you're loud.
You're not supposed to. I think you're not supposed to curse in the first 5 minutes of YouTube episodes. Otherwise, they push you down the algorithm. And I just
Oh,
said like 16 f bombs. But anyways, let's get to the show here. We got a lot to talk about. A lot going on. We got the Cavs losing to the Sixers right now. I just have it on my screen here, and we don't talk about NBA a whole lot because nobody gives a shit about the NBA, to be honest with you. But I do like the Cavs. Richie, are you a Cavs fan? I know you're from Northern Ohio,
Oh
so
yeah, I'm a big Cavs fan. Oh yeah.
okay.
Got to watch, the Cavs beat the Warriors in Game 6 of the 2016 Finals with my dad. Probably one of the best basketball games I've ever been to. Place was
Yeah,
it was awesome.
you said 2016 when they won it.
Yeah, when they won it, then I was
Yeah.
downtown with my cousin when they won it. The whole
Oh,
the streets of Cleveland were full of it. It was
bro,
awesome, and
I,
everybody was on their best behavior, high five, like yeah, let's go
yeah,
Cavs, let's go Cavs.
dude, I still regret. I think it was 2016. I'm pretty sure it was. It was either Game 5 or 6 was in Cleveland. It was 6, and they had a day game for the Indians. And then the Cavs game, I mean, because down in Cleveland, like those are right across the street. Like you
Oh
can
yeah,
walk, like there's a pavilion in between. And I was like, dude, that's the dream. Go to a day game at the Tribe, watch them win, and then go to an NBA playoff game, especially back then with LeBron and like the finals, Golden State.
yeah.
Like, dude, that was I regret not doing it. I had young,
traffic was. I remember traffic being nuts that day.
yeah. So it was wild. But anyways, we spent enough time talking about all that. NBA gets very limited time on here because I don't enjoy it. But in the social media atmosphere here today, I found a couple things, Rich, and that we got. Okay, hold on. Before we get into that, big time trouble, huge downgrades on the O-line, quarterback, and a few defensive positions. Notre Dame's not making the playoff next year, not even a chance. Woo! All right, Tyler, stick around, Tyler. That's a take. That's a take, and you might not be wrong. We'll see, but we'll get into that. Outside of that, in the social media atmosphere, have you seen Bill Belichick's contract?
No, what is this?
Oh, bro. So first of all, there's I think it's a $10 million buyout up until June 1st or something like that, because that's when the new league year starts or whatever for the NFL. And then after that, it drops to $1 million. So basically, they just wanted to make sure nobody hired him in the NFL. But his bonuses, if he goes to the college football playoff, he gets $750,000. Quarterfinal, $1 million. Semifinal, 1.25. Championship game, 1.5. If he wins the Natty, he gets a $1.75 million. Now, those aren't compounding, so you don't get to add it all up. But
yeah,
I mean, is that a risk on UNC's part? Like, can he get them to that point?
man, time will tell. See what type of recruits he can bring in, Carter.
I mean, he's already got a couple in the portal. He's hitting it hard already.
Yeah, I mean, he's got that 25-year-old girlfriend. Hey, maybe she's attracted him.
Hey, you don't know. He might be cool with Sharon, and she may be just taking care of business for him.
Jesus, he might be. Hey, filming well. Hey, I'm breaking down film here.
I'm just saying. Dave asked, "What is his base?" Hold on.
North Carolina. I mean, we'll see. I mean, North Carolina, they've kind of come up in recent years with their quality of football play down Chapel Hill. So I'd be interested to see how well he does in 2 or 3 years, Carter.
Yeah, I will too. Dave, to answer your question on his base salary, he's guaranteed at least $10 million per year in base salary, supplemental salary, which includes these bonuses of up to $3.5 million. So he could earn as much as $13.5 million a year. His base is 10, which puts him at the upper echelon of coaches. I mean, there's not many that are making above $10 million a year right now. I know Ryan is at that 10 million mark. I know Dabo, Kirby. I'm trying to think of who else. I don't know. Nobody really knows what Marcus is making anymore at Notre Dame, but I would imagine that from what I've been told, it puts him in that category. So he's probably up around 10 to 12 million. So yeah, Belichick is one of the highest paid coaches in the NCAA at North Carolina, mind you.
Yeah, at North Carolina. Yeah.
Now, on top of that, yeah. On top of that, I mean, he gets a cool $250,000 just for finishing in the top 25. 300,000, top 20, top 15, 375, top 10, 425, top 5, a cool $500,000.
That's a lot of money.
Okay, go.
What's the Cena one?
I don't know. Go. Sorry about that.
No,
A couple
you're good.
kids came down. They're supposed to be watching a movie. But, I mean, he should. I mean, for what they're paying him, and I'm sure what he's outlined in the NIL structure, he should be getting at least that $250,000 pay every year, right? I mean, if you're paying $10 million a year for a coach, plus the NIL that they've promised, I mean, if you're not in the top 25, he sucks at college coaching.
Yeah. Should have just been on the yacht.
Right. Now, in other news, Pete Carroll. Did you see that? Pete Carroll named the head coach of the Raiders.
It's the Raiders are going to Raiders, man.
I mean, I wonder I don't know if his contract details came out, did they? But
I just heard it was a 3-year. I knew it was a 3-year deal.
Okay. I mean, do we think that that's an interesting hire, right? I mean, I thought they were going to go young because, like, the trajectory of the NFL has been young, right? Like, we're hiring Sean McVay's, Ben Johnson, younger guys that are up and coming. Kevin Stefanski even was a little bit younger guy. I mean, you can go down the list, right? But Pete Carroll, that's an old dude, 73 years old. I think that makes him the oldest coach in the NFL, right?
He doesn't look 73, I'll tell you that.
Well, he doesn't act 73, and that's something I've heard from players that I know that played for him and things like that. It's like, dude, he's one of the dudes. Like, he is, as much as he's a player's coach because of how he treats people, he just is young at heart, and like, it's crazy to me.
Uh-oh.
Hold on. Hold on. We got to fix this. I just touched a cord I shouldn't have touched. That was stupid.
We're having technical difficulties here on a Friday night, folks.
God, it's a Freaky Friday.
It's Freaky Friday.
But yeah, I don't see any dollar amounts on this.
I didn't either. I just know it's a 3-year deal for good old Pete.
3-year deals with a 4th-year option. But let's see what. Here we go. Let's see. Poodle Pete. That's an interesting nickname. Never a dull moment. Looks great for 73. I don't disagree. Oops. I think it's a good hire because the Raiders are in rebuilding mode and aren't ready to win, but Pete will at least establish a good culture. I don't disagree, although from what I've heard about his time in Seattle, I think he lost that culture pretty early on. If you look at his last couple years in Seattle, specifically when he let Russell Wilson kind of run the ship, and that was a mistake on his part. But yeah, I think he'll establish a good culture. People want to play for him. People love playing for him. That's for sure. Sid, if you want reasons to hate Pete, just DM me. I'll give you plenty. I fucking hate that guy. I mean, I like him. Like, I get what he's saying. I should hate Pete, and I have plenty of reasons to hate Pete, but I don't. I agree. It's like he's just not a hateable guy. It's like if Marcus Freeman and Brian Kelly had a baby, it would be Pete Carroll. Where Brian Kelly gives you so many reasons to hate him, and his personality supports those reasons. Marcus Freeman gives you no reasons to hate him, and his personality supports the no reasons you hate him. But if you mixed them, and Pete Carroll gave you a bunch of reasons to hate him, but he had Marcus Freeman's personality that you can't hate, that's Pete Carroll. Like it's
That's hilarious.
It's just, right? I don't know how else to say it. Like
So, did you know he was a secondary coach at Ohio State?
No, I had no idea. What do you mean? Do you know who he coached for?
Did he coach for your grandpa?
Yes.
No shit.
Yeah.
I didn't. I can't find it. I just saw it. I'm like, he coached at Ohio State. No way.
I'd have to look up the timeline, but either Pete Carroll left and they hired Saban, or my grandfather fired Saban and hired Pete Carroll. I don't know which exact route it went, but yeah, so like my grandfather had Pete Carroll, had Saban, Urban, Tressel. I mean, all those guys coached for him.
That's awesome.
But yeah, it's a crazy tree. And then you have people like
the Earl Bruce coaching tree.
It's wild. It's wild when you look at it. I mean,
yeah.
And obviously that all goes back to the Woody Hayes tree because Earl Bruce was a Woody Hayes disciple.
Mm-hmm.
But Dave's here. Yeah, that's me. I'm Zach's brother. For people that didn't know, I mean, I don't care if you know. But yeah, I'm the Notre Dame fan Zach keeps talking about. That's crazy that you're here and didn't know, though, Dave.
You didn't know that?
I love
Dave,
that. That's awesome. I'm glad. That
last
makes me happy.
Last week's was Carter's birthday, and Zach says, well, my brother's a Notre Dame fan, and well, fuck him.
Yeah, we're not wishing him a happy birthday. Yeah, all right, bro. He texted me and wished me happy birthday, though, just so y'all know. Anyway, let's see here. What else we got? Oh, so they released this graphic. I'll throw it up here. Here is the college football bowl records during the CFP era. When you look at this, first of all, Jeremiah Smith on the graphic when he played 1 year in the CFP era so far is wild.
Very wild.
But when you look at it, are you shocked by anything?
I'm not shocked with the SEC being at one. The Sun Belt Conference. Now that's a conference I'm surprised at. Ahead of the Big Ten.
Right. I mean, they've played a lot less games. Like, you look at the numbers, they just played a lot less, and they won a few. But, yeah, I mean, the SEC obviously dominated this era. Sun Belt, okay. Mountain West, okay. I think the one that shocks me the most is the ACC. Because you got, like, if they didn't have Clemson, think about if they didn't have Clemson, which won natties during this time. Like, they wouldn't even be, they'd probably be last. Like,
they probably, the MAC would be ahead of them.
Yeah, I'm saying. Now, they've played more games, I get it, but like, you look, obviously, you can take out the group of fives, right? Like, we understand, like, they're going to win some games because they play shitty teams and stuff like that. But when you look at the power conferences, I think it's about as expected. I thought that the ACC would be more on par with the Big 12, I guess, but the Big 12 played, fucking 30 less games than the ACC, so they didn't have as many teams. Pac-12, it's crazy to me, though. The ACC still ranks as one of the worst conferences in every metric possible. Independence. I mean, I know Notre Dame is not boosting that number because that's the thing. Like, Notre Dame and the independence is probably hurting their overall number.
Yeah.
But the thing is because they played in such big bowl games and they lost so many times with Brian Kelly. I mean, they didn't win a lot of bowl games and they didn't win a lot of big games. So they're probably hurting the independence number, honestly. Because I was going to say the independents are probably being carried by Notre Dame. Then I thought about it and was like, actually, maybe not. Like,
Carter, what year was Notre Dame in the playoff? That they played Clemson? Do you remember?
20. When they played Clemson?
Did they play who? They played somebody. And
they played Bama.
Was it Bama? Okay, I couldn't.
I believe it was 2020. They played Bama and got absolutely destroyed, and then Bama ran the fucking train on Ohio State.
Oh yeah, I mean they just
I believe that was 2020. I think Brian Kelly made the playoffs twice, though. You're putting me in a spot right now, and I feel like I don't know these things as well as I should. Let me look it up. But Notre Dame playoff. Let's see. Well,
Yeah. No, so they played them in 2021.
Yeah, 2020 season. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I couldn't remember which season it was.
Yeah.
Now, how crazy would
Yes.
that been? Now, how crazy would that have been if Notre Dame and Ohio State played in a national title that year?
Well, I think Ohio State wishes.
Too good. Oh yeah.
I think Ohio State wishes they would have. But yeah, also played Ohio State. That was 2015, I believe, when they played Ohio State in the Fiesta or in the Sugar Bowl.
2016 Fiesta Bowl.
Yeah, 2015 season. Yeah.
Yeah.
When Jalen Smith got injured.
Yeah,
I do recall that. That was when, yeah. But this is scintillating. Do you mean titillating? Like I'm not sure what scintillating means, but thank you, Rip Jules. It is scintillating conversation. But to add to the scintillating conversation we're having, I do have one question, and I think this is an absolute. Maybe you'll disagree with me, but I think it's a crazy, even question to ask. 2019 LSU. Oops, sorry. 2019 LSU versus 2024 Ohio State. First of all, set the line.
I'd say the line at 43.5.
Over under?
Yeah.
Oh, bro, I'm hammering that over. Hammering it. But what's the line on the spread? What do you think?
LSU -3.
I am hammering LSU -3. Are you kidding me? Bro, and I get this. So here's, we can have a conversation about it. But and people, if you're in the chat, what do you think the line should be? Before I give mine, I'll give you my over-under. Over-under's 55.5, probably. Maybe even 59.5. But, I mean, what do you like? Okay, 3. You said 3?
That's a tight ball game. It ain't going to be that. If those teams will play, that is a defensive battle.
A defensive battle. First of all, LSU has no defense. They have no defense. They gave up almost 600 yards to a Texas team led by Sam Ehlinger. LSU has no defense. Ohio State scores at will. I mean, they can't stop the run. They can't stop the pass. Ohio State scores at will. I'm talking about every possession.
I think it'd be closer than that, man. I really do.
You haven't heard the rest of my statement. You think I'm going to say Ohio State wins?
Oh, no. Definitely no. No, definitely not.
LSU wins that game by at least 7. And here's why.
Okay.
Here's why. First of all, Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson. That's all you need.
Yeah, exactly. That's
all you need.
That's the thing.
Like, who is guarding either one of those guys on Ohio State's defense? Like, I love Denzel Burke, great player. He can't hold Jamar Chase's jockstrap. And if you put Denzel on Jamar, you're going to put Igbinosun on Justin Jefferson?
He's drawing
getting a flag every play.
Every play.
They won't even have to, every first down will just be a defensive pass interference or holding call. It would be, yeah. And Clyde Edwards-Helaire in the backfield. I mean, their offensive line wasn't great, so maybe this defensive line could shut down the run. But here's the X factor, and he's not even an X factor. Joe Burrow had probably the best quarterback season ever seen in the history of college football, and he's not throwing interceptions. He's not getting rattled by pressure. He's getting the ball out quick. I don't like as good as Ohio State's defense was, and it was one of the best defenses in the last 20, 25 years, probably. They're not shutting that down.
No,
So
there's no way.
If you go at that point, yeah, at that point, I go purely, listen, neither offense is getting stopped. I'm going to go on quarterback because in a game like that, the quarterback wins it, and Joe Burrow is way better than Will Howard. I would lean towards Will Howard throwing an interception or two way before I would think Joe Burrow would that year. So I'm setting the line at 7.5 LSU and the over-under at 59.5. And I still probably hammer the over on the 59.5. I think about taking OSU plus 7.5, though. They might keep it close enough.
I would take that. Plus 7, maybe 7.5.
I would take it. I wouldn't feel great about it, though, because if Will Howard throws 2 picks, or let's say you get to the middle 8, LSU has the ball with 4 minutes to go in the first half, gets the ball to start the second half, that's a 14-point swing. You're not stopping them.
No.
So it would be a crazy game.
And like you said, IGB getting the whole flag. I mean, they're going to get
I don't know what you do. Like, as good as Jim Knowles is, and we have a lot to talk about Jim Knowles, as good as he is, I don't know how you even dial up a defense to stop that. Because guess what? There's only 2 teams in the past 10 years that have faced 4 or more top 5 teams in a season. One of them is 2024 Ohio State. The other one is 2019 LSU. And the only reason 2024 Ohio State faced that many is because they had more playoff games. LSU faced more in the regular season. So they faced some great teams, ran the table, went undefeated. There's no way you could take – I'm sorry. I love that. I respect the shit out of that 2024 Ohio State team for what they did and how they rebounded and everything like that. But no, you'd have a better argument with the 2019 Ohio State team against the 2019 LSU team that we got robbed of that matchup.
Yeah, we did. Thanks, targeting.
Yeah, targeting and the fumble.
And the fumble that Sean Wade had.
Oh, that fumble was so blatant. Where is the game played? If it's played in the shoe, it's the Natty. It's going to be played in a dome, probably in New Orleans or Atlanta or something. It's not played in the shoe. But, yeah, I thought that was a wild argument to even have. And I get it. Recency bias. Everybody wants to talk about this 2024 Ohio State team, and they're a great team. I'm not trying to diminish what they did, but they aren't. I think 2020 Alabama beats them.
No. I think Jim Knowles dials up some stuff to.
That 2020 Bama team was different, though. That defense was good, real good.
Nah, man. I think JJ takes that defense's lunch and eats it right in front of them.
I'd have to look at the roster, but they have some dudes. They had some dudes, but I think this argument's a little more lopsided than that one. But it's always interesting to see, and people love to do that, right? Oh, this is the new natty. And you could do the same thing with 2023 Michigan. I think 2019 LSU mops the floor with 2023 Michigan.
Oh, definitely by far.
Now, here's a question, and this is a hard one to answer because you almost have the answer already. Does 2024 Ohio State beat 2023 Michigan in the national championship game?
Oh.
You have to remember they couldn't beat 2024 Michigan.
I don't know. I think they score 40 points on that team.
Yeah, I mean, you would think so, but Travis, yes, if that team's wearing any other uniforms. Exactly. I don't know how you do that, though. How do you, because I agree. I think 2024 Ohio State is a much better team than 2023 Michigan. Offensively they are. Defensively, they're similar. I think they're both excellent defensive teams, but
yes.
But I don't know. I don't know, man. It's hard to because Michigan fans will be there and be like, bro, The 2024 Michigan team was the 2023 backups, and they beat your ass.
They did. They did. Came to Columbus and beat them.
Yeah.
A walk-on quarterback, if that, Carter.
I know. But before we move on, I'll reset the show here real quick. I got these fucking kids, man.
Those Rugrats.
I know. But if you're out there on Twitter, make sure you tune in on YouTube. Richie, tell them about our YouTube and to like and subscribe and all that stuff. I'll be right back.
Hey guys, yeah, go ahead. Make sure you like and subscribe to the page. Hit the all like button, or not the all like, the all button. So when we're going live, hit the like. It helps with our algorithm. Helps us with growing the show. Duke and Carter and myself, we're trying to blow this thing up, trying to take it to the moon. So just make sure you guys like and subscribe. All right. 2024 OSU lost to 2024 Michigan. Can't say we beat the 2023 Michigan. Yeah, you're right, Trav. I agree with you there.
All right. Sorry about that.
Oh, you're good. Hey, the Rugrats, man. No sleep for the wicked,
Right, exactly. They're like, I don't want to watch this movie. What?
Kids, guys, kids.
All right. Sorry.
Hey, Travis. Hey, thanks for coming out. Have a great night, buddy.
Yep. Have a good one. And then last thing we got here, I think, we got two more, I guess. Well, we'll skip that one. Did you see this about Reggie Bush?
No, I did not see any of that today.
Really? It's crazy. So Reggie Bush, I don't know why. I mean, I'm assuming he's asked because Lincoln Riley sucks, but was asked about the head coaching position at USC and said he wants to be the head coach of USC. Thing about it is he didn't say, like, I want to be the head coach of USC someday. He was talking about, like, right now.
I feel like sometimes former players have a hard time coaching at their alma mater.
They definitely, but also, like, even Coach Prime had to go to, like, Jackson State or Jacksonville State or whatever.
Yeah.
And then he still didn't get offered the Florida State job. He had to go to Colorado. Like, bro, you've never coached football in your life. Why do you think you are even in consideration for this?
Then he's going to go to Dallas, Carter.
Well, that's what I've heard. I like that. I don't know about you. I like that.
Going to Dallas?
Yeah. Go to Dallas,
I
trade
like
Dak, draft Shador.
I like it too for the Cowboys.
Yeah.
I mean, they'd be the perfect match. Him and Jerry Jones would be the perfect match made in heaven.
Bro, either that or they would hate each other. I don't know which. Could go either way.
He's already wearing a cowboy hat. I mean, shit, why not? Pay him now.
But so here's my I don't know if you call it a hot take or like a deep cut or like whatever. Here's what I think happens. The Dallas Cowboys hire Deion Sanders as their head coach, trade Dak Prescott to the Cleveland Browns for their number 2 overall pick and Deshaun Watson. So they have to eat Watson's contract. The Browns have to eat Dak's, which is a big contract, but they get a quarterback that people think is good. But they also get that number 2 pick, which essentially secures them Shador, right? Because nobody's taking Shador at 1 if Dallas is 2, because he's just going to not sign.
I think that's the move the Browns get. I mean, that's the move they got to make.
Yeah, the Browns.
If they want to get back in some type of contention, and like you said, if the Browns want to load that contract from Deshaun,
I think that's the move.
I think it's the move too.
I think, hey, listen, this number 2 pick is worth so much that we're not going to ask for future picks. We'll take on Dak's contract because they got to unload that. But you have to take on Deshaun's, and then you get the number 2 pick, and we get Dak. And then they hire Deion. Dion and Shador go to Dallas. It's a fucking story made. I mean, the number of tickets and jerseys that'll be sold. Jerry Jones will be creaming his pants. It just makes too much sense in my mind.
I agree. Like we said it before that he's going to Dallas like weeks ago before Mike McCarthy got fired. I think it's gonna. I really do think it's gonna happen because you haven't heard anything yet about it. They haven't made a move on it yet.
And I think it just makes so much sense, right? You get Dion gets Travis Hunter taken 1 overall by the Titans. Gets his son taken 2 to the team he's going to coach. The Browns get a quarterback that, I mean, he's got injury issues, but he's better than Deshaun.
Well,
you get to unload that Deshaun contract.
If they do that, will your faith in the Browns be restored?
No, I'm sure Dak will come in and fucking get injured nonstop, and we're paying him $57 billion to not play. I mean, like, never mind. Breaking news. Wow, this couldn't have happened at a worse time or a better time. Breaking news. Cowboys are hiring offensive coordinator Brian Schottenheimer as their new head coach. So scratch everything we just said. Scratch everything. Yeah, dude, my phone just went off. Scratch everything we just said. It's not happening. Dion's not going. Brian Schottenheimer is the new head coach of the Dallas Cowboys per ESPN. That was amazing. We are sitting here talking about how it's going to go down, and ESPN heard us. ESPN heard us and was like, no, you guys are idiots.
What do you guys know?
Brian Schottenheimer.
Yep. Wow.
There you go. That's your new head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. I think they're going to stick with Dak in that situation.
Disregard all. Cancel the mock drafts.
You can't fucking write this shit. Yeah. So there you go. That is your. That's amazing, dude. I can't believe that just happened right now.
I just got a text about that.
Couldn't have been better. Anyways, we'll reset the show one more time, and then we'll get to some portal talk and some Notre Dame stuff. If you're out there on Twitter, come on over to YouTube, get in the chat with Travis and Ohio Buckeye Mark. We got Jules in here, Jay Grizz, Dave, Sid, everybody out there. Appreciate you all tuning in. Come on over to YouTube. Hit that like and subscribe button. Give us a follow. Help us blow this up. We're going on the path right now, and we got a lot of things planned for next season. One thing I do want to announce, I don't know the date yet because Notre Dame loves to not – I mean, nobody's released a date. But I'm thinking that the spring game at Notre Dame, South Bend, Indiana – is probably going to be on April 19th. If it is April 19th, I at least will be in attendance, and I would like to do a live show from South Bend. That'll be our first live show from South Bend, even if it's just me going live for a couple minutes. But I'm planning on going to the spring game. It'll depend on the weekend. April 19th will be perfect. So if you guys are listening and you're a Notre Dame employee, put that in their ear. But make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Make it worth it.
Maybe tweet at Shane Gillis, see if you can come on for a couple minutes.
Bro, if Shane Gillis is there, I'm meeting him. That's for sure. Him and I have shared a couple DMs here and there, but nothing.
There you go.
I tried to get him on before the Natty, and he was a little busy, it seemed like. But
just a tad.
You know, he's doing shows, and he's got 2 million followers and shit. So, you know.
We'll get there one day, hopefully.
If nothing else, though, I'm going to try to get my boy, baby boy, to Prince to come up to South Bend for that.
There you go.
But also, shout out baby boy to Prince. If you don't follow him on Twitter, social media, Instagram. He loves Notre Dame. Released a song specifically for Notre Dame this postseason. That was a banger. It was a remix of his hit song, This Is the Way I Live. Great song. But
great song.
It is, as Richie said, it's Friday, January 24th, and the Buckeyes are national champions. That's true. However, and I know there's been some talk in the chat already about this being debunked and about people saying, no, I'm not going anywhere. However, if you know anything about college football, the strong denial of something is almost a kiss of death of something that's going to happen. Could Carnell Tate and Jeremiah Smith leave the Ohio State Buckeyes and go chase a bag? Richie, I want your thoughts. You're our resident Buckeye. What do you think?
Well, kids these days, they want that money, man. They want that money. There's no loyalty. They just want to go get that paper and collect those stacks before they hit. If they hit the league and their career is cut short, at least they had something to fall on. It's turned into a business now, Carter.
It's a business
as the NIL era is concerned.
It is a business.
I as much as it pains me, I'd love for them to stay at Ohio State, but the reality is, hey, money talks, bullshit walks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So let me just put this out there. I know we have a lot of Ohio State fans that listen, just because of who Richie is, who I am, like just our interactions. I'm from Columbus. I live in Columbus. I know a lot of Ohio State fans. Neither one of them's leaving. I got to be honest with you. Neither one. They're both coming back. It's fun to talk about, right? It's this fun little game. And the fact, the bigger question is, why are they even like in contact with anybody? And I know how it's done. I've explained it on the show before. They all have agents. The agents talk to other agents and to universities. The player is not contacted whatsoever by any outside. So there's no actual tampering that's going on. But there needs to be safeguards in place where, like, if you're an agent of an NFL player under contract, you're not fielding deals for them every year.
No.
Right? And it needs to get to that point because right now, whether you like it or not, Jeremiah Smith and Carnell Tate are Ohio State University players. They should not be fielding deals unless they get into the portal. In order to find out what your value is, you should enter the portal. Or they need to change it somehow. But they're fielding offers because their agents are talking, and I've heard anywhere from $2 to $5 million for Jeremiah Smith. I've heard anywhere from $1 to $3 million for Carnell Tate. Here's the thing about that, and Jeremiah Smith, let's talk about Jeremiah Smith first. If you're going to be offered, because the one offer that I heard that is the most likely scenario, I guess, or the one that has the most legs to it, is $4.5 million to go to the University of Miami in South Beach. He's a South Florida boy. Makes sense, right?
Makes sense. Yep.
That's a bag. But understand something. If you are offered $2 million at Ohio State, let's just say ballpark $2 million, you're going to get $2.5 million more per year over the next 2 years to go to Miami, right? So that's $5 million. I mean, that's money. Like that.
That's hitting the lottery.
Okay, but let me break it down this way instead. You're 19 years old. You're already making, let's say, $2 million a year, right? That's where he's starting at Ohio State next year. Is it worth it for another $2.5 million a year to go to Miami? And let's not be naive about what he is. He's a generational player. He's going to be a first-round pick even if he goes to fucking Bowling Green State University, right? But right now, I contend that he's a guaranteed top 5 pick at Ohio State University.
Oh, but by far, it's wide receiver you, Carter.
Yeah. So at Ohio State, given the talent he has, the production he had his freshman year, he's almost, barring injury, a guaranteed top 5 pick. Do you know how much money you lose from going from a top 5 pick to a top 20 pick?
I can't remember. Humor me.
20 to 25 million.
20 to 25 million. That is quite the chunk of change, Carter.
$20 to $25 million is what he would lose, and that's just on his rookie contract. So, would you risk $25 million to secure 5 when you're already making $2 million?
I wouldn't. I mean, because this is college ball's only temporary. He's thinking I'm going to the league. Like I'm good enough to get in the league. I don't want to risk my future getting hurt. Going down to Miami and playing with Carson Beck. It'd be a wasted year. And what if his production isn't as what it was at Ohio State his freshman year?
Yep. No,
He
I'm
he
saying.
he'd be.
Yep.
That's a big risk. The grass isn't greener on the other side.
No,
I'd
I
stay
agree.
put.
I agree completely. I think you don't risk it. And that's just the first contract. Let's not talk about the development and everything you do to get there, right?
Right.
I'll be right back. Give me just talk about Jeremiah, and then Carnell Tate is, Emeka Ibuka has already proven that you don't have to be wide receiver 1 to get drafted in the first round, right?
Right.
All right. I'll be right back, Rich. Give me.
Yep. No problem. Shit, where'd I go? So Carnell Tate, he's going to be filling in for that slot for Ibuka, and then I think Brandon Ennis is going to be getting some playing time coming next year. I'm curious to see how well they mesh well with Julian Sane, getting the ball out to them. And JJ, I mean, for the year he's had, I've never seen anything like it in my entire life. For me being an Ohio State fan at the wideout position, the kid is Megatron before Megatron was. So I for him to leave to go to Miami, it's foolish. It's very foolish. It's not a smart business decision. Stay at Ohio State, get developed. Charger 4521. What's up, Charger? I got my hat today. So I'd like to see how well.
All right. Sorry about that.
Oh, you're good. I was just filling
Yeah.
in the gaps.
Sorry.
I was filling in the gaps. No, you're good.
But yeah, I heard a little bit. I think here's the thing, like with Carnell Tate, I get why. So the number one school that I think you have to worry about if you're Ohio State is Oregon, with Carnell Tate.
By far, yeah.
Because obviously Oregon has the money. On top of that, his girlfriend goes to Oregon, right?
Right. Well, thing is with that, guys will always follow that girl. Hopefully not, though. Hopefully in his case, he's smart. He stays put where he's at. But Oregon's got a lot of resources out there, being Nike U. That's the one school I'm worried about is Oregon trying to snatch.
Yeah, I think that's the one that you have to worry about. one more minute, sorry.
Plus, Oregon's got those shiny, flashy uniforms they get every other game. It'd be nice if Ohio State would get those pro combat unis, back that they had in the early 2000s and everything. Because kids these days, they like to look good, play good, and feel good, So I just hope that doesn't happen. Where do you guys think Quinshon's going to go in the draft? Any guesses? Which rounds? I see Quinshon going as a third rounder to the Brownies. Let's see what else. South Carolina extends Shane Beamer to 2030. Ooh, Notre Dame safety Xavier Watts to enter to the NFL draft.
I didn't even know. Did he have eligibility left? I thought he had to. I don't know. But
two-time All-American will enter the NFL draft rather than return to Notre Dame for his 6th season.
Yeah, sorry about that. I was dealing with kids that don't want to go to bed and don't want to listen. But so let's get to some Notre Dame stuff here. Obviously, we have. Okay, thank you. Jim Knowles is another person that is going to potentially leave Ohio State. What do you think about this, Rich?
Well, rumor has it he has a lady friend out there in Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm. He's got a fiance out in Oklahoma. That so here's the deal with her, from my understanding.
Mm-hmm.
She has high school age kids that she doesn't want to move to Columbus because she wants them to finish school where they are. Jim Knowles wants to be with his love, right? He's got whatever, but so that's one place. But here's a couple others that I don't know if you've heard. Penn State is pretty confident they're getting Jim Knowles. Yeah. Make that one make sense to him, Ron. Now, Jim Knowles is like a Philadelphia guy. Got family in Philly. However, Philly's a solid 3.5, 4 hours from Penn State. So it's not like he can just pick up and go.
Yeah.
Right? But a lot of people are saying he's going to go to Penn State. Oklahoma's another place that I've heard. But this one, a little more interesting to our audience.
Could it be South Bend? Question mark?
Jim Knowles, next defensive coordinator at Notre Dame. Is that possible? Could that happen?
Hey, they'll have to throw all that money that they wanted, they got during the playoff at him.
Right? Now, Notre Dame has the money to compete with Ohio State. Don't let anybody tell you anything different. I promise you they do. And they just got a $20 to $30 million bag for being in the playoffs that they weren't necessarily expecting. Now they have to deal with revenue sharing and everything else. But Jim Knowles to Notre Dame. I think that one is the one that intrigues me the most. And it's because here's why. I'll tell you why, and then I'll let you rebuttal, because as an Ohio State fan, last thing you want is for your roster and team to get pillaged, right? But the other two, Penn State and Oklahoma. Penn State just lost their D coordinator to Clemson because they wouldn't pay him more. How are you going to pull the highest paid assistant in the country away from a better program to come to Penn State?
Yeah, what is Penn State thinking that they can do to try and lure him away from Ohio State?
I think they're really hoping on the Pennsylvania thing, and it's dude, it's not close enough to if it was Temple and Temple was a national power, then maybe, because that's in Philly. But
yeah,
this is in Happy Valley, 4 hours away. You're not really playing to that.
And don't forget Carter. Don't forget Carter. Temple is close to Tudor's Biscuits.
No, it's not. That's fucking Marshall, bro.
Oh shit!
Temple is not close to Tudor's Biscuits at all.
I thought it was. God damn it! I can't keep stuff straight.
Tudor's Biscuits is in West Virginia and Dayton.
I thought they had a franchise in Philly.
No, that was from my brother's Marshall days.
Coming soon to Temple University. Tudor's Biscuits.
Richie's opening a franchise at Tudor's in Philly. Just so everybody knows. Hasn't happened yet, but that's what we're doing. But Philly does have Pat Geno's and Tony Luke's.
Oh, the cheesesteak. Maybe that's what completely two different concepts. I don't know.
Which, anybody out there listening, if you're from Philly, I don't want to hear your shit. I know there's better local places. Pat and Geno's is touristy. I got it. Tony Luke's probably is now too. But I was told by royalty in Philadelphia, a.k.a. Andy Reid and his son, that Tony Luke's is the best cheesesteak in Philadelphia. And I had Pat and Geno's, and I was asking him, and I said, hey, should I go to Pat's? Should I go to Geno's? And he's like, dude, don't go to either place. You go to Tony Luke's. And I went to Tony Luke's, and it's the best Philly cheesesteak I've ever had in my life. Now, some Philadelphia people out there are going to hit me up with these random bars and stuff that probably have better ones. I get it. But, like, I was from Columbus. I don't know this. Like, I'm not just going to a random bar. I was going to get a cheesesteak. But, anyways, I think – and then Jim Knowles to Oklahoma doesn't make any sense to me outside of he just really wants to get laid more. I mean, that's
everybody's goal, right, Carter?
Yeah, but, like, dude – Oklahoma's not paying you more than Ohio State. Ohio State has a NetJets contract. Get her ass out here every week.
Man, I wonder if Dwight Manfredi's going to have some pull out there.
In Tulsa. Little Tulsa King action.
Yeah.
Now, Notre Dame interests me.
Yes, that really does interest me because they do have that vacancy since Golden took that Cincy job.
Golden's going to the Bengals.
The Cincinnati
Need a
Bengals.
DC. Now, here's what I would say. I think there's two people on Ohio State's roster that Notre Dame's going to look at. Because whether you like it or not, Ohio State fans, and whether you like it or not, Notre Dame fans, Ohio State and Notre Dame are going to be tied together as long as Marcus Freeman's the head coach. Because Marcus might talk a big game and talk a little shit about his alma mater, but he respects him. And he knows Ryan Day, and he knows the program. And he's going to look at those coaches. And so he's going to look at Jim Knowles. He's going to probably call Jim Knowles and be like, what it'll take. And Jim Knowles will probably, if I'm being honest, tell him there's no chance. But if there is a chance and there's a price tag, Notre Dame can pay it. Now, the one that I think nobody's talking about right now that I would do if I was Marcus Freeman, I'd call Tim Walton. I would call Tim Walton, and I'd be like, hey, you've been a defensive coordinator in the NFL. You've been a defensive coordinator. You're one of the best recruiters in the country. You've put up one of the best secondaries in the country. I don't want you to come in and be our secondaries coach. We already have one of the best secondaries in the country. Duke, I will punch you in the face if you ever say that again. James Laurinaitis is not going to be the defensive coordinator at Notre Dame, probably ever. And Matt G, God, dude, Duke, are you drunk? What are you doing right now?
He's out with a lady friend.
This fucking guy's not even on the show tonight, and he finds a way to derail me anyways. It doesn't make sense. Yes, I know James worked there before. James has also been an actual full-time coach for one season. Nobody's hiring him as defensive coordinator in any major college program for the next 5 years.
No, he's got to build that resume.
3 years. But no, James Laurinaitis has zero chance of becoming the D coordinator at Notre Dame next year. And if Marcus Freeman hires him, I will be the first one on this podcast telling you how bad of a hire that is. Not that I have anything against James.
I will be the first one to say that is a great hire.
It's a terrible hire. It's a terrible hire.
Smart.
He doesn't know how. Like, give him time. He could be he could be a great D coordinator one day. But Luke Fickell didn't go from player to GA to D line coach to coordinator in 2 years. Like, it just doesn't happen, and it shouldn't happen. Jim Leonard's not a bad pick. I wouldn't hate it. I would rather have Tim Walton. Just my opinion. I like Leonard. Honestly, Wisconsin, I think, made a mistake not hiring Leonard as their head coach, and I love Luke Fickell. So don't like not shitting on Luke Fickell for that, but I think Jim Leonard had paid his dues at that university and should have been considered more than he was. But Jim Leonard would not be a bad hire. I like Tim Walton. I think Tim Walton's a stud recruiter, which is what you're going to need. You're going to need somebody that recruits well, because Marcus Freeman's a great recruiter and a great defensive mind. He has to be the head coach. Al Golden, probably not the best recruiter, but a good recruiter, great defensive mind. You're going to need somebody that's really good. And I like Mickens. I don't have any problem if they elevate Mickens. Now, you got to – the problem with elevating somebody from within, which is what they'll probably do, because if you play for a national title, it's really hard to go outside the org to hire anybody, because how are you going to tell those people that just played for a national title they aren't good enough, right? Like it's the same thing Ohio State. Now, Notre Dame didn't win it, so maybe that's how you do it, but it's the same thing Ohio State did in 2015 with the offensive coordinator, right? 2014, won the Natty, lost the OC. Urban didn't know how he was going to hire an outside OC and tell these guys that they weren't ready to be the OC. Only problem was he didn't have anybody on staff that was ready to be an OC. I know that for a fact. My brother was on staff, and he'll be the first to tell you he wasn't ready. But he was probably the closest, and they elevated Ed Warner, which was an epic fail, clearly. So I wouldn't be surprised if they elevate Mickens to DC, and I don't think that's a bad idea. But I think Tim Walton's on your short list. If you can get Jim Knowles, that's obviously number one. Like, that's number one on everybody's list, including Ohio State, to keep. So it's going to be really hard to get him. But outside of that, I mean, Jim Leonard's good. Tim Walton. I'm trying to think. I mean, there's tons of names out there. But the other thing that's interesting is there's been a lot of players hitting the portal. You guys talked about it last night. Pendleton, Pat Coogan, Rocco Spindler, and now Ty Chan. Like, they've lost 4 offensive linemen in the past couple days.
That's a big blow to that line, man.
It is. You're dealing with a lot of depth.
Yeah.
Now there's questions about the depth.
Exactly. How do you reload that offensive line for next year? Like, it's concerning to me, you know.
And the problem with it is, because Notre Dame played in the national title, and this is how the college football has to fix the calendar. Because Notre Dame played in the national title, their players are entering the portal right now after all the other players are pretty much spoken for.
Exactly.
So you can't go get guys, really. I mean, you're banking on the spring portal, and hopefully that works out. But you have your recruiting classes already locked in. Your guys coming back are locked in. There's no real way to offset these transfers until the spring portal. And hopefully there's enough guys that are decent enough to do that. But I don't have a problem with any of these guys leaving. Like, Ty Chan was not going to be a starter. Pat Coogan, probably a starter. Pendleton and Spindler, probably not. I know Spindler started, but he was on his way out. Like, these guys are not, like, bona fide starters that they're losing. But they are, like, we saw it this year with Notre Dame. They had to play so many linemen because of injuries that if next year – you have to deal with injuries, it's not going to be the same. I know they're bringing in Will Blackduke. I know, but that's one guy. And he's going to be a true freshman. And so you're going to be starting another true freshman like Anthony Knapp, and you bring Knapp back. And I don't know if he starts at left tackle. I doubt it. Jagasaw probably does. He probably moves to right tackle or guard. But it's just you're losing a lot of players that are depth pieces. Like, you know, Coogan was obviously a starter, but Lambert's another good one. I know. I understand what they have coming in, but you have to understand these guys are true freshmen for the most part, and they're not going to be. Your depth pieces have to be better than that, and we'll see. And then obviously lost Jaden Thomas. I wasn't upset about that. I saw that one coming. I mean, you're bringing back Great House. You're going to have good wide receivers. You're bringing back Faison, lose Bo Collins. But the one that was interesting to me is Chad Bowden. A lot of people don't know who Chad Bowden is. Chad Bowden, Richie, for you, Chad Bowden is the Mark Pantoni of Notre Dame.
Okay.
Okay. So that puts it in perspective for you.
Yeah.
And Bowden just left for USC. It's like Pantoni leaving for Michigan.
Yeah. Ooh.
How does that happen? I don't know how.
How do you lose him to your rival? One of your
So
rivals.
I know how it happened. He was making $300,000 a year, and he's making $1.2 million at USC. But you mean to tell me Notre Dame couldn't afford 1.2 for him?
Oh yeah.
Or did they not? Or did they not think that he was worth 1.2? Maybe they didn't think he was worth it. I promise you, if Michigan came in, I don't know what Pantoni's making. I don't know. Well, it's a public university. That has to be public, right?
Oh, that's public record.
1 second, babe. Hold on. Okay, watch. Mark Pantoni's only making $350,000. And so it would be like Pantoni making $350,000, gets offered 1.2 from Michigan and goes. That's crazy that they paid him 1.2. I thought Pantoni would be making way more than that. I got to be honest with you.
Yeah, I thought he would be with all the talent he's brought in there.
Wow. That's insane. I wonder, are we going to see, is this a Bill Belichick effect? I don't know what Bill Belichick's GM's making, but I imagine that Bowden probably saw what Bill Belichick's GM is making and said, hey, fucking pay me. And USC was like, yep, we got you. And yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, let me see what I can find over that.
Well, that's a good question. How much is 1.2 million in Los Angeles versus 300,000 in South Bend, Indiana? Cost of living is a bit higher, buddy.
It's probably about equates to like $600,000 out in South Bend.
It's probably not quite as far off as you think, but yeah, that's a good point. God, I can't believe Pantoni's due for a raise. Pantoni had to have seen this. Oh, dude, if I'm Pantoni, I am going to Bjork and Ryan Day tomorrow. Like, hey, y'all see Chad Bowden? 1.2.
Pay me.
Just saying.
Pay me, MFers.
Just saying. Right? Oh, that's crazy, bro. That's crazy.
That is wild.
But I just and I guess that's probably why they let him go. Is like that's not the market for GMs yet. But Bowden found a place that was willing to pay it. So I mean, Notre Dame's got to be sitting there like, God, we got to be able to get at least a guy as good for half.
Take the money and run.
Yeah. I don't blame him for going. I mean, fuck you for going to USC. That's fucking low level douchebag shit.
Yeah, it's a lot of douchebaggery.
I mean, you know, it's on this program there's no hate for Tony Alford, but it's a little Tony Alford-esque, although I'm sure Chad Bowden wasn't told to leave.
Maybe he was. He was like, nah, hit the road.
Maybe Marcus really doesn't like him. I don't know. I'm just saying, you lost your defensive coordinator, you lost 4 offensive linemen, a starting or a mid wide receiver, and then your GM. Yeah, and okay, Duke said it right here. The GM at Alabama is making $1 million. There you go. That set the bar, and if you aren't willing to pay them, they're going to go find it somewhere else. And so we'll see what they do. I know. And so I bet I saw somebody say Brady Quinn for GM. It's not going to happen, dude. I'm sorry. That's not going to happen. You have a better chance of getting Tommy Reese. But just my opinion, I think it's crazy what the world that it is, college football right now. But we'll reset one more time, and then we'll get out of here. This is the last thing.
Oh, sorry, guys. My computer's about to die.
All right. Well, guys, it's about that time. I got to go get everybody to bed, make sure everybody's alive and sleeping. But if you're out there watching on Twitter, make sure you tune in on YouTube. Give us a like and subscribe. and follow us on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. We got TikToks going now, thanks to Duke. But I appreciate everybody tuning in. A little late night Friday action. Going forward in the off season, we go live Monday through Thursday at 7:30. Fridays are either 7:30 or a little bit later, depending on the Friday. But we'll be in here talking everything going on and IG. You're right, Duke. I think I said Instagram, but I'll say it again. And Instagram. The Andre
And
Duke
Threads.
Show and Thread. Are we on Threads? Jesus.
I don't think we're on Threads.
If you're on Threads, don't follow us. I don't even want you. Fucking Threads. What is this? Anyways. Sorry, that threw me off. Fucking Threads. Are you on Threads, Richie?
No, I'm not on Threads.
Oh, God. Anybody, why are you on Threads? Like, all right. Anyways, Threads is terrible. And if you think Reels are better than TikToks, you're ridiculous. I watch both, but my algorithm is a funny story. When TikTok went down for about 18 hours, I texted my sister because she's not on TikTok and she always sends me Reels. And I was like, dude, I can't, like, how do you live without TikTok? Like, this is awful. She's like, you can just watch Reels. And I was like, yeah, but my algorithm is so different on Reels than it is on TikTok. Like, it's a totally different algorithm. And I like having both, all right, because I get to see a little bit of everything. Totally different. And now I got to go rework my Reels algorithm. This is terrible. And
No, it's awful.
And she just texts me that goes, oh, my God. That is the most first world problems text I've ever received in my life. Like, yeah, I don't want to have to work that hard. I want to see what I want, and I open each app accordingly. Like,
Exactly.
if I want comedy, I go to TikTok. If I want sports, I go to Reels. I'm sorry, that's just how my Instagram and TikTok have gone over the years. And now I got to figure it out. Now, luckily, whoever did it, we won't say who, but he brought TikTok pretty quick back. And so now I can use both apps. It's great, but
Yeah, I'll have to re-download it because I deleted it. And I got to
yeah,
download it.
it was very first world of me. I agree. Like, oh my God, I can't use TikTok and Reels. What am I gonna do?
It sounds like something a South Park episode.
Right? It was terrible. It was a rough 18 hours, I gotta tell you. But if you're out there, make sure you follow us. I appreciate everybody tuning in tonight. We'll be doing this all off season, 5 days a week. Like I said, I'm planning to go to the Notre Dame spring game. I think it's going to be April 19th. That's just my projection. I have no inside knowledge. But that's just where I feel like it's going to fall. And if it does, I will be there. So come out. That's my next projected live show. If Richie and Duke can join me, great. If not, I'll just be out there by myself fucking living.
That is Easter weekend, Carter. That is Holy Saturday.
Son of a... Maybe, they probably won't do it that weekend.
They won't do it then. No, they will.
So it's probably going to be April 26th. All right. Well, I got some work to do, but I'm going to try to get April 26th freed up, and then I'll be there for that one. Son of a gun. Duke, I already said you might be there. God, this guy doesn't listen.
No, Duke, open your ears.
God. He's got fucking cauliflower ear or something. But... anyways, thank you so much for tuning in tonight. We'll be back Monday, 7:30 p.m. live. We'll send it out on Twitter and everything like that, but be here. Love to get you all in here and like and subscribe again. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Thanks, everybody. Have a great night and great weekend.